There's a question from Gavin.
Why do you think users haven't cared about these metrics? Yeah, that's the big question. We would love an answer to that. We're always a bit confused by how little users care, but then also there's other users, like a very small group, that it cares a lot and cares very much about exactly these things. And there's just this, it's not the majority. And that is our mission. So this is our life, our company purpose question. Make users care about this. And I think we can only do this by giving transparency and showing them what is the actual risk, right? And we hope then they will care more, but we obviously don't know.
Hi, Sebastian. Thank you so much for explaining this in detail. So I'm not a Web3 whiz. I'm not a tech whiz by any stretch. I'm from the VC world. So as you'll see, my questions are more looking at L2 Beats from a company, a solution, a customer solution business perspective. How do you think the profile of the user or the first adopters of the solution that you have look like? As in, who are they? Who do they like to hang out with? What type of coffee do they like to drink?
You mean by user? In our definition, users are probably the people visiting our website. Do you mean the users we imagine that are using the layer 2s?
You can give me an answer for those, but my focus is more on the first adopters. Who would you think would be the first adopters of the solution?
Okay, so the first adopters of these layer 2s in general are usually like blockchain natives or people that are already on Ethereum. But this is also something that's shifting, and this is probably also the people that then are not caring about L2Beat and are not really blockchain native. These are probably the users that come in more since we have good scaling. And many layer 2s make it extremely cheap to use blockchains. And this also allows basically the blockchain to be abstracted away. You can put it underneath a game on your phone and no one will notice it's blockchain, but also no one will care about the trust assumptions. So this is basically the people we want to try to reach more, because either they should care or they're just not interesting for the entire industry because they don't really need blockchain. If they honestly don't care, because for my mobile phone game, I don't really care about risk so much. I just want to play a game. So there, I don't really see how this should be on a blockchain. And then as soon as they know about this, they don't need to really go there. So there's very different types of users, and we hope we're reaching the right people, but we basically want to give this transparency to all of them because everyone will profit from it.
Yeah. Just before I think about, I think what you said earlier, maybe this is even related to Gavin's question. It's like, there's two groups of users in my mind. It's if you have a company, there are people like a S&P. They will go in and they will rate the company. They will see whether this company is like in good standing. They will do like due diligence. They'll research their actual like profitability or something. And if the numbers is done correctly with like GAAP accounting or whatever.
You mean fundamental analysis?
Yeah, like that to me is one group of users. And I think those are they're this, I wouldn't say serious users, but these are like the long-term, let's say, participants and investors. And then you have people like me that go into stocks. You know what? I saw somebody tweet something about Tesla.
Robinhood.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening, for instance. I don't know what the rating is. I don't know what the value is. And tomorrow they could collapse. I think that's why the rating agencies grow so big over time and they stand the test of time. Is I think if you want to be in the game in the long term, you need to really understand this, because these failures in my mind, they're like all out, like they wipe you out. Like any one of these like major failures in my mind is like it could be like an end all, like you lose all your money.
Yeah, we definitely have super different types of users. There's companies like BlackRock that want to decide where to tokenize their real world assets on a blockchain. And we want to give them transparency if they want to change, if they want to choose a layer 2. But we honestly also want to give just a random blockchain agnostic person transparency. And that's why we have all these layers of depth that you can go into on the website. So we have these colors that jump at you, but we also have like very in-depth on-chain data that we link to and that you can find out for yourself. So yeah, we want to reach everyone, but maybe that's also our problem.
I think that gives me a segue to my second question. So what I would assume you've been trying to educate the market for some time now. What are some top 2-3 challenges that you are facing when it comes to educating these potential customers or users about your solution?
The challenge is basically, we see it on our page, right? The challenge is this, like, we want to have an impact also. And this is basically the feedback that we get. If we now in 70 days have no one, I mean, it will not be the case because we have their commitments and we see the developments of these people that will improve. But if we don't have much change here, then this is not really useful. And then we will have to adapt and talk to people what they actually value. Because as I said, decentralization is not everything, right? It could be that people and our society actually values different things. But for now, it looks very promising, and we're becoming like a hub of basically these frameworks in the whole Ethereum scaling ecosystem. So for now, it looks fine, but we will see. I don't know. The struggle is not really there yet, I would say, but we can already very clearly see it coming if the trust assumptions do not improve.
Final question. Given the market capitulation happening right now with Ethereum and the Trump administration and World Liberty Financial and Ethereum's value going down every day, do you see this have any effect on the solution that you're building?
So from an economic perspective, I'm not in operations of L2Beat, but I think we're fine. The Ethereum ecosystem, the scaling ecosystem is chugging along, in my opinion. That's just a feeling, but it feels like it's fine. From a fundamentals perspective, it is so, I don't know if there's other people that are into the Ethereum ecosystem, but from a fundamentals perspective, if you care about decentralization, there is no other option. It's by far the most advanced system with the biggest developer mindshare. And this doesn't really, like, in this way, we don't really care so much about the price of ETH. Obviously, this has an impact, but still, relatively compared to the other projects, the only place for decentralized coordinated computation on blockchains is Ethereum. There's no other, like, you can go to other blockchains to have more scaling, but you will always sacrifice so much decentralization.
Thank you so much, Sebastian.